Imagine waking up in a world where most illnesses are a mystery, pain is treated with wine, and surgery feels like torture. You are the village doctor in the Middle Ages, and every decision can mean life or death. Today, you will live one full day in the shoes of a medieval doctor. From your first patient at sunrise to the moment you blow out the candle at night, you will see how fragile life truly was. You are 35 years old, and you live in a small wooden house at the edge of a muddy European village. The roof leaks when it rains, and the walls are covered with smoke from the fire that burns night and day. Your bed is a simple straw mattress, and rats sometimes crawl close to your feet at night. There is no running water, no glass windows, and no heating except the open fire in the middle of the room. As the church bell rings at sunrise, you hear coughs, cries, and the creak of wooden carts outside. People are already awake, carrying buckets of water, feeding animals, and preparing for another hard day. On a small table near the window, you keep your precious tools: knives, cups for bloodletting, cloth bandages, and bundles of dried herbs. Each object is worn and simple, but to the villagers, this small table looks like the closest thing to a hospital they will ever see. In the Middle Ages, people call you a doctor, but your education would shock a modern surgeon. You never saw an operating room, never used a microscope, and never studied at a modern university. You learned from handwritten copies of ancient texts by Hippocrates and Galen. Monks in distant monasteries spent years copying these books by candlelight, sometimes adding their own errors and comments. According to these old ideas, the human body is controlled by 4 humors: blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. Illness, in this worldview, is simply an imbalance between these mysterious substances. You believe that food, seasons, emotions, and even the position of the stars can shift this delicate balance. There is no concept of bacteria, viruses, or immune systems. Those discoveries are still centuries away. Your first patient today is a young farmer with rough hands and tired eyes. He leans against your doorframe, breathing heavily, his skin pale and sweaty. He tells you that his chest feels like it is being crushed by an invisible stone. He woke up at night unable to breathe and now fears that he will die before the next harvest. You place your ear against his back and listen to his lungs. You hear wheezing and irregular breaths, but you have no X-ray, no ECG, and no blood tests to guide you. In your understanding, his blood is too thick and heavy with bad humors. To restore balance, you decide to perform bloodletting, a common and trusted treatment of your time. You heat water, clean a small knife in the steam, and tie a cloth around his arm. The farmer's wife watches silently, holding her breath as you make a careful cut and let the dark blood flow into a clay bowl. You measure nothing. You simply stop when you feel that enough has been removed to calm his body. After the farmer leaves, more villagers arrive at your door. A woman complains about constant headaches and dizziness. She believes that a neighbor cursed her after a fight at the market. You listen patiently, and instead of arguing, you prescribe a mixture of herbs to calm her body, and a visit to the church to calm her soul. Another patient is a child with a dangerous fever. His mother says the fever started after he played near a swamp and was bitten by insects. You soak cloth in cool water and place it on the child's forehead. You give him a bitter drink made from willow bark, not knowing that centuries later, scientists will turn this plant into aspirin. Every patient brings not only pain, but also stories, fears, and beliefs. You must treat the body while carefully navigating religion, superstition, and the fragile trust of the village. Around midday, the mood in the village changes. A trader passing through town whispers rumors about a deadly sickness spreading in nearby cities. The people call it the plague, a mysterious disease that can wipe out entire streets in a matter of days. You have seen it before, and you still remember the mass graves and the silence after the funerals. Soon a woman is brought to your house on a cart. She has dark spots on her skin, a high fever, and swollen, painful lumps under her arms and in her neck. Her family looks at you with desperate eyes. They know that most people with these symptoms never recover, yet they ask you to do something. You have no antibiotics, no isolation ward, and no clear understanding of what causes this horror. You believe that bad air, corrupted humors, and perhaps divine anger are behind it. You burn strong-smelling herbs in the room to try to cleanse the air. You place garlic, vinegar, and cooling salves on her skin, hoping to draw out the poison. You stay near her for hours, breathing the same air and touching the same cloths. You know that helping her might mean your own death, but you cannot simply walk away. In the Middle Ages, the Church has enormous power over daily life. Many people believe that illness is a punishment from God for sins or bad behavior. The local priest sometimes visits you to remind you that prayer is more important than herbs. He warns you not to trust strange new ideas coming from distant cities. At the same time, travelers bring news of universities in places like Salerno, Bologna, and Paris. There, young scholars begin to study anatomy, perform dissections, and question ancient beliefs. You are curious. Late at night, you secretly read fragments of handwritten notes describing muscles, organs, and even basic surgical techniques. If someone reported you for reading forbidden texts, you could lose your position or face serious punishment. But you feel that knowledge, not fear, is the only real path forward. As evening approaches, a cart stops outside your house. On it lies a boy who fell from a horse and landed badly on a stone. His leg is twisted at an unnatural angle, and bone sticks out through torn skin. Blood has soaked his clothes, and his parents are shaking, unsure if he will survive the night. There is no anesthesia, no sterile operating room, and no trained team of assistants. You have only strong wine, leather for the boy to bite, and your trembling hands. You pour wine into his mouth until his eyes begin to lose focus. You tell him to bite on the leather strap and not let go, no matter how bad it gets. You heat an iron in the fire until it glows red. The smell of smoke mixes with the smell of blood and sweat. With a single motion, you push the bone back into place and press the iron against the wound to stop the bleeding. The boy screams, his parents cry, and you feel every second of his pain as if it were your own. You tie the leg tightly between two wooden boards to keep it straight. There is no guarantee he will walk again. Infection or a second accident could still take his life. Late at night, when the village finally grows quiet, you sit alone in front of a dying candle. Your hands ache, your eyes burn, and your clothes are stained with blood, wine, and ash. You think about the people you tried to save today. Some will recover and call you a miracle worker. Others may die in the next few days, and some villagers will whisper that you failed them. You know that many of your treatments are based on incomplete or wrong ideas. Yet you also know that doing nothing would be even worse. You ask yourself a question that you cannot answer. How many lives would be different if you had the science of the future? In this world, you fight disease with guesswork, tradition, and courage. Every patient is a gamble, and every decision is a heavy weight on your conscience. Today, doctors have antibiotics, painkillers, vaccines, and advanced surgery. They use microscopes, scans, and digital records to understand the human body in incredible detail. But they still carry the same responsibility you felt in your small medieval village, the responsibility to protect life, even when the outcome is uncertain. The next time you enter a hospital, remember how brutal, risky, and courageous the work of a medieval doctor truly was. And be grateful that you live in a time when knowledge and compassion can work together to save lives.